Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a ton to talk about. Again, going to remind you we're going to do this every morning at 9 o'clock Pacific. So come to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network, and let's talk some great Dodgers baseball. So super excited to bring you a great show today. We have a lot to talk about. Let's dive right into it. Let's not waste any more time. Got a lot to talk about. So the first guy I actually wanted to dive into, I've kind of skipped over, and I can't believe I've done that because he's one of my absolute favorites. And I'm going to put him on the screen right here. And if I can get it right there. Okay, this is Yency Almonte. The Dodgers, if you remember, a couple of years ago, they traded Yency Almonte and Michael Busch for both Zyhir Hope and Jackson Ferris. And to be honest with you, Yency Almonte was a pretty big deal in that trade. Obviously, Michael Busch was the centerpiece of the trade, but Yency Almonte still was a big part of that. And so the fact that the Dodgers got him back, so out of the four people in that trade, Michael Busch, Jackson Ferris, Zyhir Hope, Yency Almonte got hurt, so the Cubs really never got a whole lot out of him anyways. But out of the four guys that were in that trade, three of those guys are back with the Dodgers. And this is a Yency Almonte who came to the Dodgers in 2023 from the Colorado Rockies, where he had, he kind of toiled around the major leagues and had a little bit of success here, a little bit of success there. And then he came to the Dodgers, and what they did is that they had him throw his two-seam, and that two-seam started riding in on right-handers, and they also started having him throw that four-seam up and in. So the two-seam down and in, the four-seam up and in, and then that right there, that cutter, and then the big sweeper. So the Dodgers really changed Yency Almonte's mix almost immediately when he came to the Dodgers, and I have an interview with him from back in 2023. Go back and listen to him talk when he first came to the Dodgers, and he said that it was literally the first conversation they had. They put the game plan together. So, again, the pro scouts had gotten together to evaluate Yency Almonte, and they already had a plan for him whenever he got to the Dodgers in terms of how to use the two-seam, how to use that four-seam you just saw right there, how to incorporate a sweeper, that one there, and then kind of a smaller cutterish type pitch. They sold him on that from the very first conversation they had with him, and I think he was in Oklahoma City for maybe a month, and then he went up with the Dodgers, had a great year, especially for the signing him on a minor league contract like the Dodgers did. It hit, and then it hit well enough to where they were able to package him with Michael Busch to get a Zyhir Hope and a Jackson Ferris. And like so many of these guys, like I talked about yesterday with Carlos Duran, he came back. He was a free agent last year. Yency Almonte came back because he loved the developmental system. He loved the plan that the Dodgers put in place for him, and he feels like he can come back to the Dodgers and resurrect his career. So wanted to get Yency Almonte on the board first and talk about him and just kind of maybe possibly the impact that he can play, because he was, in 2023, he had a really good year for the Dodgers. Again, another guy that can provide what we call quad A depth, and we're going to kind of take this show, at least at the beginning, and we're going to talk about some of the quad A depth that the Dodgers have, because you got to see quite a bit of it yesterday, or at least you got to see a couple of the arms yesterday. Let me dive into first, though, before we get into the action yesterday. Michael Sinsky, the Dodgers picked up a center fielder. Had a lot of questions. Okay, Andy Pages, by the way, we'll get into him. He's doing very well right now. I think he's 4 for 6, and not just that, he's hitting the breaking ball well, especially the breaking ball away, which is huge for him. Michael Sinsky, it reminds me of kind of like getting James Outman back, but not quite as good a defensively. Now, Sinsky has had times to where he's played the corner outfield too, but I think he's played over 200 innings of center field at the major league level. So the defense isn't near as good as like a James Outman. The last time he was in the major leagues, the strikeout rate was over 30%. He is a guy that can hit home runs. I think Sinsky's a guy the Dodgers went and got, and they're like, hey, if we can strike lightning in a bottle like we did with the James Outman at the beginning of his major league career, even if it's for like 3 or 4 months. Okay, this is a guy that can do damage. This is a guy that can hit some home runs, and he can be at least serviceable. I know overall in his major league career in terms of a defensive center fielder. Of course, it's hard to grade, but I think he's probably graded out a little bit below average in center field as a defender. He has a high strikeout rate, but he hits a lot of home runs. So I think the Sinsky thing definitely is a project thing. Like, hey, can we get this guy into the system? Can we fix a few things? Can we get him going? Because if we do, this is a guy, again, that could do instant damage and help the organization for however long he stays hot. So I wanted to cover him. So I think, you have obviously Alex Call that can play center field. And then we've seen the pups like Chris Newell. We saw him yesterday. We saw Zach Earhart yesterday. And we saw Michael Ciani. So I think the way the Dodgers are hedging their bets in center field is you have a really good defender, Michael Ciani, a well above average defender with Michael Ciani in center field. Then you have a power guy in Sinsky that can also play center field. Not as good of a defender, more power. So I think maybe if you figure out roles, if you figure out a platoon, if you figure out the up-down train of how this could work, kind of if you put those two together, you might have one together if you could figure out how to take both of those players' skills and put them all together as one player. If the Dodgers can figure out a role like that, on the margins, you could have a tremendous backup type player. I still think Alex Call is the fourth outfielder. I think Alex Call would get the call first in center field. Now, here's kind of how I would put that. I think if you needed to get through 2 or 3 days in center field, I think Alex Call would be that guy. I think if you needed to get through, say, a month or two, then I think you reevaluate, and I think you use possibly a combination of a Sinsky and a Ciani, trying to get the defense from Ciani, the offense, especially the power from Sinsky, that kind of thing. So I think those are some interesting, I talk about all the time, the NASCAR races, the excitement's not always at the front of the line. The excitement a lot of times is back in 4th and 5th place for who's going to have all the marginal type races. And so I think that's one to watch. Can Sinsky become a consistent? Can he put the bat on the ball more while keeping his power? And can he be good defensively? I think he's one that is kind of sneaky to watch there. And then I'll tell you another guy. I'm going to put him up on the board almost immediately here. And that is Santiago Espinal. I tell you what, I mean, I didn't know a whole lot. I know he is an all-star with the Reds. I mean, you know all about that. Of course, I don't watch the Cincinnati Reds play very many games, and so my knowledge of him is obviously fairly limited. Okay, so let me throw some action on the board of Santiago Espinal. Tell you what, man, this guy's versatile. He's played a good third base. He's played a good second base. He's looked explosive on the base paths with me. And I'll tell you the biggest thing about I'm going to say Sergio Espinal, because Oklahoma State had a tremendous baseball player by the name of Sergio Espinal. So if I do say Sergio Espinal, please know who I'm talking about. But Santiago Espinal, we know he has a former all-star degree in the past. I didn't know a whole lot about this guy. I'm just going to tell you. I mean, I knew, again, the surface stuff that you can look up on Google. Beyond that, and I'm not going to make too much out of it, it's a couple of days, okay? I am so impressed with this guy. Right now, this guy, if I'm making decisions, Santiago Espinal absolutely is on, not the 40-man, the 26-man roster. This guy has looked really good to me. He's impressed me. I've kind of gone into this thinking he had a good chance of making the 26-man roster because he could hit left-handers and that kind of thing. I've now, after seeing him a couple days, I'm into it like, hey, this is a really good player that I think can really help this Dodgers team. And see that energy? I mean, just that positive, that aggressive energy. He just gives off a vibe to me that's fun. He gives off a vibe to me that he's full of a lot of energy, and he gives off a vibe. Here's the big one for Espinal, okay? He gives off a vibe that he's hungry, This guy, I almost said Sergio again, Santiago Espinal, to me, has a look that he is very, very, very hungry. So Yency Almonte, super excited to get him back. Not surprised that after becoming a free agent, he came back to the Dodgers, who literally defined him in 2023. Super impressed with Santiago Espinal. I can't tell you how impressed I am with him. And then I'll tell you another guy. We're going to get into Cole Irvin, and Jordan Weems here in a minute. But before we do, I wanted to get up on the board. I'll tell you what, I wanted to get into a deeper conversation about Alex Freeland, because I thought yesterday was the first time that I've seen him at a major league level. And let me get the video over to him here. Okay, let me back that up. I thought Rick Monday made a great point about Alex Freeland, okay? And this is kind of the point I've been making. And I think he made it better than I've been trying to make. There's a difference between being patient and being selective, okay? Like, being patient is, hey, we want to work this pitcher. We want to work the count. We know we're probably not swinging at a couple of pitches early in the count, not necessarily because it gives me the best chance at getting a hit, but because it gives the team the best chance to win the game, because we're trying to get into their bullpen earlier. We're trying to get into a larger pitch count. So that's what being patient is. The video is really choppy. Is that for anybody else? I don't know how to fix that. I'm sorry if that's the case. If that's the case, then I don't really know how to fix that. It's not choppy on my end. If there's anybody else that is having any kind of problems with that, then let me know. I'm sorry if that's the case there, Jay Farrell. I don't know how to fix that. But so I'll say this, okay? Whenever I say Alex Freeland needs to be more aggressive, I don't think what I'm saying is don't be patient. You don't need to draw what we know. I know he can draw walks. There's an old saying that, hey, it's easier to slow a guy down than it is to speed him up. I know that Alex Freeland has a tremendous eye. I know he has discipline. He doesn't need to prove that to me here in spring training. He does not need to prove that to anybody in the Dodgers organization. They know that part of his game is there. What they need to see of Alex Freeland is, can he be selective in his moments? So selective means, okay, I'm going to be aggressive based on the situation of the game, and then I'm going to be patient based on the situation of the game. So the situation with Alex Freeland is right now, we know he can be selective. We know he can be patient. We know he can draw walks. Can he hit his way enough to be an everyday major leaguer? That's the question that has to be answered from Alex Freeland. So this base hit from the right side, a couple of things to unpack. One, it was the first strike that he saw in the at-bat. Yes. Okay. It's running back a few seconds. That's how I fixed it. Working fine now for me. So run it back a few seconds. I'm worried about, okay, so there we go. I don't have any other complaints there. So for Alex Freeland, the fact that he got after the first strike that he saw, got a base hit, number one, be more aggressive early in the count. That will help the bat-to-ball skills. That's number one. I was super excited to see that. Number two, it's a base hit from the right side. I think the right side of the plate for Alex Freeland is going to determine whether he is a platoon guy and a guy that's constantly going up from Oklahoma City to Los Angeles to possibly the everyday second baseman. If he can hit from the right side, this is a guy that can be the everyday second baseman, at least till Tommy Edman's back. And I'll say this. Yesterday was the most confident, the most comfortable, and the most ready that I have seen Alex Freeland. I don't want to make too much out of one day. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say that. But I just saw a look on Alex Freeland like, hey, I'm ready. Bring it on. And I'll say this, and I know that Kim's gotten a couple of hits, but he also struck out a couple times. I think y'all know where I stand on that. I love Ha-Seong Kim. I've said, hey, hand over second base or whatever. My opinion, you can have your own. I think to this point, just my opinion, you can have your own. Alex Freeland's looked better than Ha-Seong Kim. If you're to ask me if you were to say, okay, well, you have to make up your mind, it's got to be either Alex Freeland or Ha-Seong Kim starting tomorrow to be the everyday second baseman for the Dodgers. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, to what I've seen in spring training, I choose Alex Freeland. So congratulations, Alex Freeland. I think he's done a terrific job so far, especially yesterday. I just thought yesterday felt like, having seen Alex Freeland so much going all the way back to UCF, it just felt like he turned a corner yesterday. And I know you don't want to make too much out of one performance or one game, but there are times, I think, to where you have that eureka moment where you go, okay, well, I think that's it. I'm hopeful where I think I know what I saw with Alex Freeland, so hopefully he can continue to capitalize on that, continue to gather base hits, and continue to look good at the plate. We know he can play defensively. So want to show you here, you're going to get into our quad A guys. Jordan Weems. This is a guy, hey, not going to make too much out of him. 95 on the fastball, slider, curveball. That's a pretty big pitch there. Pretty good stuff. He's been in pro ball for a very, very, very long time. Matter of fact, he has a split finger, curveball, fastball sits the 95, and you just saw the slider as well. So pretty good stuff. The type of guy the Dodgers like to get in terms of stuff, a pretty good fastball. He has a split finger, so he has some uniqueness to him. The Dodgers like the uniqueness factor of guys on the margin, so he definitely has that. Jordan Weems does. And then he has the slider that the Dodgers like, that pitch right there. And then a curveball velo around 95. Just trying to latch on somewhere, and where better to latch on than the Dodgers, who do the best job of anybody. There's that split right there. You just saw a split finger there. Do a better job than anybody as far as taking these kinds of guys, redeveloping them, and then hopefully, hey, it's quad A depth. But this guy with major league depth, with major league experience, Jordan Weems, on a minor league contract like Cole Irvin, who we saw yesterday. And so we'll see. I think there's a 99.9% chance that Jordan Weems, who you're seeing here, starts in Oklahoma City. But again, hey, quad A depth, you can't have enough of that. We know that. There's injuries, there's this and that. It reminds me of maybe the Dodgers have had a lot of these guys, the Jesse Hahn type of guys, to where the Dodgers go get guys with major league experience that have talent but haven't pitched really well as of late. They put them on a minor league contract and they see what they do. So continuing on our quad A type guys, and when I say quad A, what I mean by that is a guy with a lot of major league experience, which Cole Irvin absolutely does, no doubt about that, but on a minor league contract. So Cole Irvin, we all know about, the 6 pitches. We all know he's capable. We know he's definitely capable of throwing some professional pitches to the plate. He's going to pitch backwards that you saw there. He's going to hit the back door right there with his cutters. He's going to throw under the hands with the sliders to right-handers, and he's going to sweep the ball away from lefties. See that? So he swept the ball away from a lefty there. And then he's going to use all that to try to sneak his fastball by some hitters every now and then. 5th-round draft pick, 2016, 593 major league innings. So, again, good quad A depth. Again, when I say quad A, I mean minor league contract, major league experience, lots and lots of major league experience. So I think Cole Irvin is definitely a guy to keep an eye on in Dodgers camp. I think, again, like Jordan Weems, it would be a massive upset if he started. Here's another thing about these guys, both Jordan Weems, Yency Almonte, Cole Irvin, the Dodgers will be able to send them down to the minor leagues, to AAA Oklahoma City. So they have flexibility in terms of their quad A depth. So I like the idea of having a crafty lefty, a veteran lefty, and Cole Irvin as depth in your system. I like the upside possibilities of Jordan Weems. I like the reunion of Yency Almonte. Now, I think that's just absolutely great depth that the Dodgers have built in their system, depth upon depth, if you will. I don't even think these guys are necessarily the first line of depth. I think like a River Ryan, a Gavin Stone, a Kyle Hurt, who we're going to get into here in a minute. I think those guys are probably your first line of depth, and then your second line of depth would be a Cole Irvin, a Jordan Weems, and then maybe even like a Jose Rodriguez or somebody at AAA right now that's not in your 40-man yet. And then I think probably Yency Almonte somewhere in between that. And how about Noah Miller? Noah Miller is a really good defensive player. Matter of fact, Noah Miller's elite defensively. Don't ask me. Just go back to my conversation with the AAA play-by-play guy, Alex Freeland. He will tell you. Alex Freeland will just shoot it straight. He was so impressed with the defense of Noah Miller. And the thing about the defense of Noah Miller is that he just makes all the difficult plays look so easy. You really have to see him in person to appreciate how he takes the marginal plays and makes them look easy. It's always, as a matter of fact, he won a Gold Glove in High A in 2023. Right before he came to the Dodgers, it was when he was with the Milwaukee system back then. So Noah Miller is not a good defensive shortstop. He is an elite defensive shortstop. It's always going to come down to how well the offense plays. If he can, he's so good defensively, if he can just be a league average offensive player, which he's totally capable of being more than that, okay? He's definitely capable of being more than league average. But if he is just league average, Noah Miller's a plus-plus player. And here's the thing. In 2024, he hurt his knee. To begin last year, his knee was still an issue, okay? Not an issue in the sense that it was still injured, but it was still slowing him down. So he didn't really kind of let the leash off his knee till the end of last year. And I can tell you, there's no brace on there. He had to wear a brace last year. You see no brace. Starting 2026 is going to be the first time in about a year and a half to where he has a fully healthy knee, okay? And you can see him right there, how aggressive he is out of the box, how aggressive he is. He's getting to second base. I think that fact right there, that Noah Miller is finally healthy with the knee, that's going to help him offensively. And if he turns into a good offensive player, which he's capable of being, to combine with his not good elite defense, watch out for Noah Miller. Okay, so I know Rick Monday was very impressed with Noah Miller and his effort yesterday. And then another guy, I'm just going to go down the line of guys I have on here. So and then I'll get to the chat here in a minute. So if I'm bouncing around a little bit, I apologize for that, but that's just kind of how I'm going to do it here. Here's a guy I've been telling you about a lot. This is Elijah Hainline. Sorry about the video there. Elijah Hainline is the Zach Earhart of the infield, okay? He's just a guy that does everything really well. Good enough athlete, not a tremendous athlete. He grew up playing shortstop. He played shortstop at both Washington State and also at Oregon State. He can play second base. He can play third base. He loves the big moments. I'm telling you, he got a huge hit in the Oregon State Regional at home. I can't remember who it was against, but it flipped the scoreboard. Time after time after time, he absolutely comes up clutch. And here's kind of some more evidence of how Elijah, now I'm not going to say yesterday was a clutch performance, but yes, these plays were in the ninth inning. It does go to show, though, Elijah Hainline, for the first time on the main field, okay, it shows he loves coming up to the big moment. He loves stepping up when the big moment is provided to him. Elijah Hainline is huge. He loves the clutch moments. He's so confident. He's strong. He's versatile. And there's just nothing that Elijah Hainline doesn't do well. He does everything very well. He's a good defender, good arm, good athlete. He hits the ball opposite field well. He has good pull side power. He hits the ball gap to gap very well. So I'll say this, Elijah Hainline is just kind of that Zach Earhart guy, to where is he ever going to do something that you go, wow? I mean, is he Shohei Ohtani? No. But, man, you talk about super solid. That is Elijah Hainline, and a guy that absolutely steps up to the moment time after time after time. Just every time he's given a big moment. And as a matter of fact, last year, Elijah Hainline was at Low A Rancho, and Rancho was, I can't remember where they were at, but Oklahoma City was in Sacramento, and Rancho and Oklahoma City were so close, and Alex Freeland had an injury that Elijah Hainline actually went straight from Low A Rancho to AAA Oklahoma City and did really well. And I can tell you, Alex Freeland was very, very impressed with the job that he did going straight from Low A to AAA. I know Austin Chubb was super impressed with the job that Elijah Hainline did. So definitely keep your eye on Elijah Hainline. There's a reason why he got some innings at second base on the main field yesterday, and he put a hard ball in play as well. And then also in the Yency Almonte boat, okay? This one's very special to me, and it's going to be the same video. On the same video here, this is Nick Robertson, okay? Nick Robertson is, actually, I got to get off of this because it's getting ready to kick me off. Nick Robertson is the very first interview I ever had back in 2021, I believe it was. He was with AA Tulsa. He got traded a couple of years ago. You remember he made his major league debut in 2023 with the Dodgers. He got traded to the Red Sox and eventually traded to the Cardinals. He's toiled around. He became a free agent last year, and Nick Robertson after becoming a free agent, decided to come back to the Dodgers in the offseason. So Nick Robertson, if you remember him back in 2023, big right-hander out of James Madison, he is back with the Dodgers as well, kind of deja vu all over again, and he pitched yesterday. So it was good to see Big Nick back. I'm going to contact him and see if he might hop on. I've interviewed him 2 or 3 times, see if he might want to hop on and talk a little bit about him coming back to the Dodgers. And then also I want to get into this conversation. I know I'm going kind of fast. My time is limited. I'll slow down a little bit as we go. Okay, the challenge system. There were 3 or 4 challenges yesterday. They work, okay? You saw they last about 14 or 15 seconds. They go up on the big board. It adds excitement. But yet at the end of the day, it only adds a little over 1 minute total to the whole game time. The challenge system is absolutely awesome. I thought it was cool when Dalton Rushing had the challenge and he was successful with it. Of course, Dalton Rushing being in the minor leagues, he's used the challenge system many different times, so he's experienced with it. Give me your thoughts on the challenge system. You saw it yesterday, and I'll tell you the biggest thing that's going underrated with the challenge system is that, in my opinion, it's going to make the umpires better. Whenever you are able to get corrected in front of God and everybody else and the entire public, and everybody can see whether you are right or wrong, that's going to clean you up very, very fast. So I think you're going to see the umpire scorecards get a lot better, knowing that they can get embarrassed on live TV. The challenge system, I think, is going to add some excitement to the game because it's going to go up on the board. I know fans at home are going to go nuts because they're going to have the screen. They're going to have the box in front of them, but keep in mind, the challenge cannot come from the dugout. It has to come from either the pitcher, the catcher, or the hitter, and it has to be immediate. And the dugout will not have access to a lifetime box in front of them. The feed to them into the dugout will be delayed, so they will not have a real-time ability to see whether it was actually in the strike zone or not. So they're going to rely on the catchers and the hitters. I think most organizations have told their pitchers, don't be the ones to challenge. Let the catchers do that. So I thought the challenge system worked very well yesterday. I thought it showed very well for itself. Super excited about it. Not going to get into the conversation as to why they're not doing the full-blown ABS. I'll just say this. Don't believe me. Ask all the broadcasters. Ask all the players. Ask the managers. Ask everybody. The full-blown ABS system just doesn't work for a myriad of different reasons. The challenge system is the best. Each team's going to get 2 challenges. If you're successful on your challenge, you get to keep it. If you're not successful, you lose it. So there's some strategy there. I think it adds excitement to the game, and it does not add any substantial length that would make any difference whatsoever. So I think I have enough leeway here where I can throw some Kyle Hurt video up on the board here, and we can talk about him. How about one Mr. Kyle Hurt, who made his 2026 spring training debut right there? Kyle Hurt, 95 to 96. He's been 94 to 95 on the year. He averaged 95 yesterday. The big slider. How good is it to have one Mr. Kyle Hurt back in the system and ready to go? That's a 96er right there. So you can see the 95, 96 from Kyle Hurt. This is a young man that had Tommy John at the end of 2024. It was a big blow. Worked his way back. Actually got back to have 7 outings last year with AAA Oklahoma City. Pitched really well. There wasn't just a long enough window to get him ready for a playoff run like the Dodgers were getting ready to have. And so, it was just, let's punt this thing to the offseason. Let's get him ready. And I thought Kyle Hurt looked really, really good yesterday. So what did you think about Kyle Hurt's outing? I thought he looked really good. I thought the velo looked really good. I think he's going to bump up eventually to a 97, 98, something like that. Again, yesterday it was 95, 96. It averaged 95 on the year. I think they're probably calculating his bullpens as well. I think he's been 94 average on the year. Yesterday, 95. So just being on the mound in front of fans obviously helped with that situation. It bumped his velo up, no doubt. So it was good to have Kyle Hurt back, a guy that no doubt is going to play a lot of a big role for the Dodgers. And then Ben Kasparius, I thought he looked good yesterday too. Ben Kasparius is a guy that we've talked about that is a guy the Dodgers have used a lot. I'm not going to throw a video up on him. You've seen plenty of him. The big slider, the fastball. Again, I hope the Dodgers just keep his role consistent, keep his innings consistent, don't overuse him. And then Landon Knack, I thought Landon Knack did a good job as well in his one inning to get his spring training started. So it was good to see Landon Knack bounce back. He didn't have a great year last year. There's no doubt about that. Not going to sugarcoat any of that. But Landon Knack, I thought it was good to see him with his final outing of last year where he threw, 3 2/3 innings scoreless. Had another scoreless inning yesterday. Landon Knack's a guy that definitely will help the Major League club this year. It's not like he's going to be in AAA Oklahoma City the entire season. There's no way that's going to happen. So Landon Knack will play some kind of role. Kyle Hurt will play some kind of role. You've got your quad A guys. You got your two guys that returned, and Yency Almonte and Nick Robertson, who both have Major League experience and also Major League experience with the Dodgers. Then you got a crafty lefty in Cole Irvin. You got kind of a project guy in Jordan Weems. Then you have the really good defender in Michael Ciani with a good upside offensively. And then, with Sinsky that you signed a while back, you've got a guy that's projectable, a guy that, hey, if you can get in the system and get him hot for a month or so, he's got a lot of power. Not quite as good of a defender. So you've got some options there just to kind of evaluate. It's going to be super fun to watch all that get thrown into the pot in AAA Oklahoma City and see how it makes a stew with all that. I can't wait to see all that. And I can't wait to see how it all continues to progress as spring training goes forward and just how serious, these guys might threaten being in that first. I don't think any of those guys are in the first line. Maybe Yency Almonte is kind of in that 1A line of depth, if you will, in the Dodgers system. We will see how that goes. Alvinur says, I wonder how Stone's changeup feels at the moment. I can tell you those changeups are absolutely, they are 100% a, am I still, yeah, no, okay. Those changeups are feel for every day. So even if he feels good on, even if he feels good, the changeup feels good one day, it doesn't mean it's going to translate to the next. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start a Google Meets meeting, and I'm going to open it up. If anybody wants to come in and talk, we can have at it. I've got about another 10 minutes to go for this show, and I would love to talk to you. I'm going to get into that. I got into all the action yesterday. I wanted to tidy that up and make sure and kind of make that more a presentable kind of tidy moment that I have here. And then let me actually turn off the virtual cam, and you won't see me if you come in. So let me put the Google Meets link in here. If you want to join, come on in. Tony Forkus, thank you so much for joining. Good to see you again in the chat here. And yeah, Stone's change up big time. Matter of fact, kind of cool. UCA, where he went to college, they are playing in Stillwater tonight. Where that's why I have this jersey, this hoodie on. I'm going to go watch Oklahoma State play UCA tonight. Who is the college that Gavin Stone went to UCA in 2020. He actually threw a no-hitter in the last game of the season for UCA. Then he got drafted. 2021's when he entered the Dodgers system. So his coach, Nick Harlan, his pitching coach at the time, is coming to Stillwater tonight, and I can't wait to shake the hand of Nick Harlan and tell him thank you for all the wonderful work he did with Gavin Stone. So I'm really excited to get to see Nick Harlan in Stillwater tonight. Super excited to see Gavin Stone start today. The depth, no doubt, Mike Lopez. You have great, obviously, frontline starters. You have great bullpen starters. I mean, you got probably the best bullpen and starting rotation. Then I think you also have probably the best first line of depth with the Gavin Stones, the Kyle Hurts, all those kinds of guys. And then you have a second line of depth now with the Yency Almonte type. So, hey, we have Noah Ortega on the line here. Noah, How's it going, my man?
Good, man. Thanks for the content you came out with this offseason. It certainly made it go a little faster, and it was great learning about the farm system and overall the numbers.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. We put a lot of time and work into it, and we do that because we love the Dodgers, and we have a heck of a time doing it. So thank you for saying that, Noah.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, and so which player are you mostly of the minors looking forward to today to see what they're up to, look at their swing, etc.?
Which ones again, Noah?
Is there a specific player that you're going to be looking at today? Position player?
Well, I'm looking at that second base position. I'm really evaluating the Alex Freeland and Ha-Seong Kim quite a bit, and then also because I want to see if Ha-Seong Kim puts the ball in play more. I want to see if Alex Freeland is actually gathering base hits and being aggressive. Then obviously you want to see Ryan Ward. You want to see him get off the snide. He just needs to get that first base hit, get the nerves out, and, just kind of settle into things. And then I think also I want to see how Josue de Paula handles all the hype that he gets as the Dodgers' number one prospect, of which that's one of the reasons why I don't like to tab guys, and give them more responsibility than maybe they're ready to handle. So I'm curious to see how he handles that the number one prospect tag, and then I'm also curious to see if Zaire Hope can continue to put the ball in play, because we know if he gets his strikeout rate down, this guy's a big-time prospect. So I'm excited. Those are the guys that right off the bat I'm excited to see. Obviously, Antonio Knowles, I was excited to see him take the mound. Patrick Copen, super excited to see him. And then another guy that I've been talking about all offseason that's kind of a sleeper is Jermaine Rosario. I was excited to see him, that he wasn't nervous, that he pitched well the other day, and then also Carlos Duran threw well. So those are some of the names that I've been excited to see so far.
Yeah, I've been excited for Zaire Hope and Josue de Paula just because their name popped out all over the trade deadline, and like you said, they're the number one prospect. And I'm really impressed by Zaire Hope with that exit velocity, the numbers that Austin went with.
No doubt, Zaire Hope hits the ball as hard as any prospect out there. He hits the ball as hard probably as any major leaguer, no doubt.
And if Kendall George, for some reason, if he just literally cannot hit, do you think because of how great of a base stealer he is, he might even get like a Justin Dean role where they'll give him at bats, but they put him in situations where they might need a slow base or two?
Are you talking about in the regular season or in spring training?
Regular season, like down the future.
I just don't see any scenario where Kendall George makes the major leagues this year. There's too many. I think he's got Chris Newell, he's got Ryan Ward, he's got Alex Cole, he's got Michael Ciani, he's got Sinsky, he's got Zach Earhart, he's got James Tiz III, Josue de Paula, Zaire Hope, Damon Keith, Cole Myers. I think he's got all those guys to jump. So I think Kendall George made some tremendous strides last year in bat to ball, in developing a game around his speed. He also made tremendous strides in not just stealing bases, but the efficiency in which he stole bases. He actually started getting caught less the more that he stole, and he's made tremendous strides in playing the outfield, the routes and jumps and that kind of thing. But he's still listed on the Great Lakes Loons roster. I think there's still a chance he starts with Great Lakes and then eventually gets worked up to AA Tulsa. So I still think he's 1 year away from any kind of realistic talk of him making the major leagues.
Got it. And do you think the sign of Kyle Tucker essentially caught Ryan Ward by surprise? Because Brandon Gomes during in the winter meetings said that they were going to give Ryan Ward runway when D-Mac from Dodgers Nation asked him about it.
Yeah. You talking about Wardo?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing caught him by surprise. And Ryan Ward understands he's with the Dodgers. He grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts, which is about 30 miles from Boston. So he understands the big market. He understands that the Bostons and the LA Dodgers and those types of organizations, they're always going to go out and try to get the best free agent. And I promise you, he knew they were looking to get Kyle Tucker. I think like the rest of us, though, I mean, you kind of think, well, he's going to be 8, 9, 10 years. Probably won't happen, but I don't see any scenario to where Ryan Ward, if he ever even sat down and thought about it, I don't see any scenario where he didn't think the Dodgers were going to go get some kind of quality major leaguer to add to their outfield. So I don't think he was surprised whatsoever. And I asked him the question on our interview whether he was kind of disappointed that he didn't get to go maybe sign somewhere else where he'd have a bigger runway. He said, no, it's an absolute honor to be a part of the 40-man roster on the Dodgers. So I don't think there's any surprise there. I do think, though, Noah, I think there is a lot of press. I think he's pressing. I think he feels like he has about a 2 to 3 week period here to prove himself all over again. And that's an unnatural period. And a lot of times in baseball, you try a little bit too hard and you end up with some weird results. And I think we're probably in that stage right now for Wardo.
Yeah, man, he deserves so much. He deserves way better. He practically would have made the White Sox opening day roster 4 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. He would be a starting outfielder with a lot of other teams right now, but it just so happens the Dodgers put him on the 40-man. The Dodger, he can now be in the minor leagues for 3 more years. He has 3 option years. That's what it is. That's where his feet are at the moment, and he just has to make the best out of whatever role he's given. Kind of like the Dalton Rushing thing. I thought Dalton Rushing looked good yesterday too, though.
Yeah, I'm excited for Dalton Rushing. Going back to it is we all got to be patient. Dalton Rushing, he'll turn it around because people just got to remember that time when they wanted to DFA Andy Pages, and it turned out he would then caught fire like a month or 2 later. And we got to remember how Will Smith used to be. He wasn't always the number 2 or number 3 catcher in the league.
Yeah.
He was very irrelevant at the very beginning.
No doubt.
Yeah, and that's something, I feel like that's something that we as Dodger fans forget because we've just been signing free agents back to back to back to back that we've slowly lost patience.
Yeah, well, this is an organization that's in win-now mode at all times, and so that makes it hard on the prospects, no doubt about it. And here's where I've said this many times. The system should be set up to where the Dodgers can't build this major league roster and also hoard everybody at the minor league level. I think if I had one request that I could make at the next bargaining table between the players and the owners, it would be we got to figure out how Ryan Ward can't be in the same organization until he's 33, never having a chance to make his own choice where he wants to be. I think that's the one thing I would want to see get fixed.
Yeah, it's there's a reason why no team has 3P, and there's a reason why the Yankees, with all the money, haven't even won a World Series since 2009, before the iPhone 4S came out.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's a big reason why the New York Mets and Stephen Cohen, well, they didn't even make the postseason in 2023 when, after signing Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and last year, after signing Soto.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not all about just spending money. It's also about having a plan. Like, hey, does this guy fit our culture? Does he actually fit a need that we have? It's not the Giants that I said that all last year. Just going and getting the best names that you can possibly go get doesn't always work. So I think the Dodgers definitely have the best method behind their madness, no doubt.
Yeah, I remember you and I are advocates for the fundamentals. Like, something that you and I agreed on is we didn't think that Juan Soto is worth over $700 million because of his defense. Yeah. Because it's those small plays that literally save or finish the game, just like literally the 2025 World Series with Andy Pages' catch and Miguel Rojas throw to home plate. Yep,
no doubt about it. I think I called him Mike Sawinski, Jack Sawinski, so earlier. So, hey, Noah, I got to get, but, hey, I really appreciate you hopping on here. Every time that I put the link up there, please hop in. I love talking to you, man.
Yeah, man, I love hearing you. I listen to you while I drive, and it certainly makes the drive go by faster. And can't wait to hear the rest of your videos moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And if my video's choppy, I apologize. I'll try to figure out something between. Hey, thank you again, Noah. Awesome job, dude. If it's choppy for you, I don't know what that is. I will try to figure that out between today and tomorrow, and I will go from there. So, okay, that's going to do it for me today. That's about all I got. I'm going to actually get through a couple of chats here. We thought Hobbs looked great. You weren't kidding about the slider. Yeah, that slider showtime for Hobbs is big time. The curveball's even bigger than the slider, and the carry on the fastball is simply fantastic. Yeah, Chuck, no doubt about it. Noah did a knockdown, drag-out job again. Anytime I'm by myself, hop on because I love talking to you wonderful Dodgers dogs. J.C. Gonzalez, I like the Juan Pierre comp for Kendall George by Mike Lopez. Yeah, that's a really good comp. I think also D. Gordon, although D. Gordon was they don't play the same positions. I think that's a good comp too. And as a matter of fact, they've compared with each other in terms of the stolen bases they've been getting in the Dodgers system. And Chuck says Kim looked a little like last year when he struggled yesterday, but it is only one day. But it kind of surprised me too. I didn't think Kim would ever look like that at any one moment. Again, it's a long spring training. It's a long year. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been a lot. I got a couple more minutes, so let's read a couple of more here. Mr. Classic, I like that ABs is accurate with I like that ABS is accurate, but it does kind of get choppy for a game. Yeah, when there's a whole bunch of them, I think you're going to have fewer of them as they go on because I think the umpires are going to clean it up when they start getting embarrassed. Because I'm telling you, when you get embarrassed in front of the world like that, you clean it up pretty fast. Chuck says, I love the challenge system. Yes, Mr. Classic, scouts are always watching, certainly the Dodgers too. So, okay, that's going to do it for me right there. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Gavin Stone on the bump today. Tune it in. We'll have all the coverage. If you don't follow Dodgers Daily on social media, we have X, we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, then obviously this YouTube. Make sure and follow along real time on the game. So until tomorrow at the same bat time, same bat place, I want to thank all you wonderful Dodgers dogs for tuning in and remind you, as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.